world that constantly demands our attention, learning to say no is a path to healing. We say yes out of habit, guilt, or fear, forgetting that every yes has a cost. The power to say no isn't harsh or selfish. It's sacred. It's an invitation to protect your peace, preserve your energy, and live with intention. This is a gentle journey into the wisdom of saying no, inspired by teachings that lead to inner freedom, time, energy, focus, sometimes even your peace. That's not because giving is bad. It's because unconscious giving can be exhausting. The habit of saying yes without pause can pull you away from what you really need. It begins as kindness, but it can quickly become sacrifice. Your peace, your rest, your stillness, they are all slowly chipped away by constant agreement. Imagine your life as a cup of water. If you pour it out endlessly, at some point, there's nothing left. Saying yes when you mean no depletes you. You start to feel anxious, resentful, and disconnected from yourself. The teachings remind us to walk the middle path, not too tight, not too loose. You are not here to carry the world on your shoulders. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe. Peace is not found in overextension. Peace is found in intention. Every yes must be weighed with care. Ask yourself, is this coming from obligation or from alignment? Does this nourish me or drain me? When you begin asking these questions, you stop agreeing out of guilt. You start responding from a place of truth. And the truth often whispers gently, "Not this time." That whisper deserves to be heard. Saying no to others is often saying yes to yourself. Yes to healing. Yes to rest. Yes to silence. You are not meant to burn out in the name of goodness. A peaceful life is not one where you say yes to everything, but one where you say yes to what matters and no to what steals your stillness. Remember, peace is a gift, but it's also a choice. Protecting it may mean disappointing someone else, but that moment of discomfort is nothing compared to a lifetime of living disconnected from your inner calm. Choose peace over people-pleasing. Your soul will thank you for it. Lesson 1. Saying no is not rejection. It's protection of your priorities. When you say no, you're not pushing people away. You're drawing a line to protect what matters most. This is not an act of rejection. It's a declaration of focus. Life is full of distractions. Opportunities, requests, favors, they pour in unfiltered. Without boundaries, your energy gets pulled in all directions. The first step is to recognize that your time and focus are not unlimited. If you try to give to everyone, you end up giving very little to yourself. Protecting your priorities is a form of self-respect. It means choosing clarity over confusion. When you're clear about your purpose, you no longer say yes just to please others. You respond with truth. A compassionate no is better than a dishonest yes. The mind becomes lighter when it stops carrying the burden of pleasing everyone. You begin to notice the peace that comes when your actions match your values. In spiritual practice, clarity is essential. Saying no helps you clear space, mentally and emotionally. You begin to live with purpose instead of pressure. No becomes your tool, not to shut others out, but to keep your true path clear. You start honoring your journey, not just others' demands. Reclaiming your life starts with protecting it. You are not rejecting people. You are accepting your own truth. This shift may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to saying yes. But with time, you will realize that each no is a gentle protection, a shield that guards your priorities from being diluted. And through that shield, you make room for deeper peace and greater presence. That is not rejection. That is liberation. Lesson 2. Every yes to others is a potential no to your own peace. Every time you say yes, something is given away. Lesson 3. Boundaries are built on the backbone of no. Boundaries are not walls. They are bridges to a life of clarity and intention. Without them, you live in a fog of confusion, where everyone's demands feel urgent and everything feels like your responsibility. That is not peace. That is pressure. And the key to changing it lies in one simple but powerful word: no. Saying no creates the structure where boundaries can live. It is the foundation that holds everything together. A life without boundaries is like a house with no walls. Everything gets in. Noise, chaos, exhaustion. But when you learn to say no, you begin building your walls, not to isolate yourself, but to keep your center safe. Think of boundaries as the sacred lines you draw around your energy, time, and values. They define what you allow and what you do not out of anger, but out of awareness. When you know your limits, you honor them. And when you honor them, others begin to as well. Boundaries teach others how to treat you. But more importantly, they teach you how to treat yourself. Every no you say becomes a message to your heart. I matter. That message is powerful. It rebuilds self-trust. It strengthens your inner foundation. And slowly, the chaos begins to settle. You find yourself with more time, more clarity, more space to breathe. People might not always understand your no. That's okay. Your boundaries are not up for negotiation. They are the structure of your freedom. When you stop saying yes to everything, you stop living for others' expectations. And in that silence, your true voice returns. A life with clear boundaries is a life that respects the soul. Don't be afraid to build that life. Don't be afraid to say no. It's not selfish. It's necessary. Peace requires structure, and that structure begins with courage, the courage to say, this is where I draw the line. Lesson 4. People-pleasing is the fastest way to personal burnout. There's a hidden cost to always saying yes. That cost is your own well-being. When you try to please everyone, you begin to disappear. Your own needs become invisible. You stretch yourself thinner and thinner, hoping to avoid conflict, to earn approval, to feel needed. But deep inside, something starts to break. You feel tired, but you keep giving. You feel lost, but you keep smiling. You tell yourself it's love, but it's fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of judgment. Fear of not being good enough. That fear leads to burnout, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. You wake up tired, even after sleep. You feel disconnected, even when surrounded by people. That is the silent cost of people-pleasing. But there is another way. A wiser way. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You are allowed to matter too. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to disappoint someone else if it means being true to yourself. The path of truth is not always comfortable, but it is freeing. When you begin saying no, you start to reclaim your life from the grip of approval. You realize you were never meant to carry everyone's expectations. You were meant to walk your path in peace. Saying no does not mean you stop being kind. It means your kindness now includes yourself. It becomes rooted in truth, not fear. The people who truly care will understand, and the ones who don't, maybe they never truly saw you anyway. This is your life, your time, your energy. If you give it away for the sake of approval, you lose the only thing you truly own, yourself. Don't wait for burnout to teach you this lesson. Begin now. Say no, not with anger, but with wisdom. Not with guilt, but with grace. Your peace is worth protecting. Lesson 5. No is a full sentence. No explanation required. We often believe that a no must come with a long story, a justification, or an excuse. We think we owe people a reason, but we don't. No is a complete answer. It stands on its own. It doesn't need decoration. It doesn't need apology. Once it's spent, it never comes back. Yet many of us trade our time not for joy or purpose, but for guilt. We say yes when we're tired. We commit to things we don't believe in. We show up to avoid disappointing someone, even when we're already stretched thin. This kind of giving doesn't come from love. It comes from guilt. And guilt is a thief. It robs you of your presence, your peace, and your power. You end up feeling resentful instead of fulfilled, exhausted instead of empowered. Time is like currency. You would never give your money away to everyone who asked. So why give your time without thought? Learning to say no isn't just a way to protect your calendar. It is a way to protect your spirit. When you honor your time, you honor your life. Guilt often whispers, if you say no, they'll be upset. But peace responds, if you keep saying yes, you'll lose yourself. And losing yourself is a much higher price to pay. You are not responsible for managing other people's emotions. You are only responsible for showing up with truth and love. Sometimes, love means stepping back. It means trusting others to handle their own disappointment. You are not cold for choosing rest. You are not unkind for setting limits. You are simply awake to your worth. And when guilt tries to take the wheel, pause and ask, am I doing this because it feels right or because I feel afraid to say no? That question brings awareness. And awareness is the first step toward freedom. Let go of the need to please through guilt. Start honoring the currency of your time. Spend it wisely, with purpose and presence. Say yes when your heart is open. Say no when your soul is tired. You will find that true peace doesn't come from doing more, but from doing what truly matters. You deserve a life that is full, not just busy. A life built not on guilt, but on grace. In the quiet space of no, there is power. There is clarity. There is truth. When you feel the urge to explain, pause. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Often, we explain because we fear being seen as rude, selfish, or ungrateful. But those fears are just old voices from a past that taught you your worth was tied to approval. It's time to let those voices go. A gentle, respectful no can be kind and clear at the same time. You do not need to bend over backwards to make someone feel better about your boundaries. Let your no be calm. Let it be firm. You are not required to justify your rest, your peace, your limits. This doesn't mean you become cold or unkind. It means you become grounded. You begin trusting that your worth isn't found in explaining yourself. It's found in your ability to honor what feels right for you. Every time you say no without an explanation, you reclaim a piece of yourself. You stop shrinking to fit into others' expectations. You stand tall in your truth. And you start to feel a new kind of strength, a quiet strength that says, I don't need to prove myself. Let your no be simple. Let it be sacred. The fewer words you use, the more powerful your intention becomes. You don't need to overtalk your truth. You just need to trust it. Say no, and say it with grace. That's enough. You are enough. Lesson 6. Your time is currency. Don't spend it on guilt. Time is one of the most precious things you have. Lesson 7. Silence after no is more powerful than over-explaining. After you say no, there's often an urge to fill the space, to soften it, to explain yourself, to make sure the other person understands and isn't upset. But that need to explain comes from discomfort, not truth. Sometimes the most powerful response after no is silence. Invitations that feel more like obligations. The world around you will never stop asking for more. But you don't have to keep giving away your peace to meet every demand. Saying no is how you honor your inner world. It's how you protect the quiet space within you that holds your peace, your clarity, your joy. That space must be guarded not by force, but by choice. You are allowed to choose peace over pressure, even when others don't understand, even when they're disappointed. Your responsibility is not to please everyone. Your responsibility is to stay aligned with what brings you calm and balance. When you live to meet everyone else's expectations, you become a stranger to yourself. You feel busy but empty. surrounded but lonely, always doing but rarely being. But when you start saying no, you create a new rhythm, a slower, gentler one. You start listening to your inner signals, the tightness in your chest, the heaviness in your mind, the quiet whisper that says, "This doesn't feel right." That whisper is sacred. Don't ignore it. Say no when your spirit feels tired. Say no when your heart says it's not right. Say no when the pressure to say yes comes from fear, not love. Peace is not something you find outside. It's something you protect inside. And every no becomes a small act of devotion, not just to your schedule, but to your soul. Over time, you'll notice the shift. You'll feel more present, more grounded, more true to who you are. And the outer pressure will feel less powerful because your inner peace will be stronger. That's the reward of choosing no when it's needed. You stop being pulled in every direction and start walking your own path with clarity. Let your no be an act of self-respect. Let it be the shield that guards your calm. And let it remind you, over and over, that peace is a choice one you can make every single day. A calm, grounded pause. No rush to justify. No scramble to be liked. Just space, stillness, strength. Silence honors your boundary more than 100 explanations ever could. It says, "I trust my choice." It shows that you are rooted in your truth and at peace with your decision. Silence is not rude, it is respectful. It respects your own limits, and it respects the other person's ability to accept your answer. Over-explaining can actually cause confusion. It weakens your boundary. It invites debate. It opens the door for others to question your no and push back. But silence closes that door gently, without force. It says, "I've spoken. I am done." This doesn't mean being cold or unkind. It means trusting that clarity doesn't need decoration. When you learn to be silent after no, you stop trying to manage how others feel. You stop dancing around their disappointment. And you start standing in your own light. That's powerful. It takes courage to let the silence stay. But inside that pause is your freedom. You begin to notice how much of your energy was being spent trying to explain your every move. You begin to feel lighter, more present. You speak less, but your words carry more weight. You no longer need to prove your boundaries. You simply live them. Let your no be clear. Then let silence follow. Resist the urge to fill the space. Let it breathe. Let it settle. That space is not empty. It is sacred. It's where your strength grows. And in that stillness, you begin to hear your own voice again. Quiet, clear, free. That's the power of silence after no. Lesson 8. Saying no honors your inner peace over outer pressure. There will always be outside pressure. Expectations from family. Requests from coworkers. Lesson 9. Learning no filters out distractions from true purpose. Life is full of noise. Endless tasks, conversations, opinions, and obligations swirl around you every day. It is easy to get swept up in all of it and lose sight of your deeper purpose. The journey back to that purpose begins with one powerful filter: the word no. For too long, many of us have shaped ourselves around others, their needs, their plans, their approval. But in the process, we lose touch with who we really are. The art of no is how you return to yourself. It's how you begin living not as a reaction to others, but as a reflection of your deepest truth. Each time you say no to something that doesn't align, you say yes to your authentic self. You give yourself room to breathe, to think, to simply be. You begin to hear your own voice again. And that voice matters. You are not here to fit in. You are here to be whole. That wholeness begins when you stop overcommitting, overgiving, and over-explaining. You begin to move from the inside out, not from pressure, but from presence. This kind of living feels lighter, more honest, more joyful. You start honoring what makes you feel alive instead of constantly responding to what others expect. And from that space, something beautiful unfolds: freedom. Not the freedom to do everything, but the freedom to be yourself, unapologetically, with kindness, with courage, with grace. Saying no becomes a spiritual act. It's a way of clearing the noise so your soul can speak. You become more creative, more connected, more calm. Not because you've done more, but because you've done what truly matters. The art of no isn't cold or harsh. It's soft and strong at the same time. It's a way of telling the world, this is who I am. This is what I need. This is how I will live. And that message is powerful. It invites others to do the same. The freedom you gain becomes a light for others to find their own path. So say no when you must. Do it with love and with certainty. Trust that your truth is enough. And walk forward, not in fear, but in freedom. You are free to be fully you. That freedom begins with no. When you say no to what doesn't align, you begin to clear the clutter. You begin to see what truly matters. Every no removes something that pulls you away from your center. And with every no, your path becomes clearer. It's like cleaning a foggy window bit by bit. You remove what blocks the view of your own truth. You can't do everything, and you don't have to. You are here to do what is meaningful, what is sacred, what lights up your soul. But that can only happen when you stop saying yes to things that drain you. Many of us are afraid to say no because we don't want to miss out. But the truth is, the more you say yes to everything, the more you miss out on the one thing that matters: your purpose. Learning no is how you make space for what is real. It's how you choose depth over distraction, silence over noise, clarity over confusion. When you stop giving your energy to what doesn't serve you, that energy returns. It begins to fill your body, your thoughts, your heart, and you begin moving with intention. Life doesn't feel scattered anymore. It feels focused, whole, true. You may not always know your purpose clearly, but you'll never find it while drowning in unnecessary yeses. Start with one no, then another. Watch what falls away. Watch what remains. That's your path. Let it guide you. Let it be enough. You don't need more noise. You need more truth. And truth often begins with a quiet, confident no. Lesson 10. The art of no unlocks the freedom to be fully you. Saying no is not just about managing your schedule. It's about reclaiming your identity.